Hey, John from LeadForms here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add your lead form to LeadPages. So there's two things I'm going to show you. The first thing is how to embed the lead form right into a landing page. The second thing is how to open the lead form from a click of a button using a ClickPop. So let's get started here. First thing first, just have your LeadPages landing page set up and ready, and then make sure it's published. So I'll publish this now. This is just a random page that I got from the LeadPages template section. So once that's published, grab the link, and then we're going to head on over to GetLeadForms. I'll just create a random form here as an example. I'll go with this one, website template embedded. So this is going to be an embedded form. Since we're embedding the form into LeadPages, make sure that the form mode is set to embedded. And this can be found within the settings section of the lead form builder. Next, go to publish, click on target pages, expand this section, and paste in the link that you just copied. This is the link to your landing page. I like to enable the show on all subpages. Click save changes. And then the next thing to do is go to add to site instructions. Copy this and then grab the pixel code here. So I'll just grab the pixel code, and this essentially communicates back to the GetLeadForms platform and helps load some settings and feedback data back into the metrics and the different parts of GetLeadForms. So now I'll go back into the LeadPages landing page builder, and we need to add this pixel code to the header of the landing page. So you can do that by going to Settings, Analytics, Head Tracking Code, and just paste that in. Click Save. So now that will help your lead form work on the page. The next thing to do is since we are going to embed the form, we need to drag a HTML widget onto the landing page. To do that, go to Widgets, go to HTML, just grab this and stick it right there. So we need to go back into GetLeadForms now, go to Embed LeadForm, expand that section, and you can copy the class or the ID right here. I typically go with the class. There's a little bug where sometimes when you copy things with the embed code, the section kind of goes away or it contracts. So we're going to get that fixed. But I just copied the class. Now I'll go back into LeadPages. Get rid of that tab. So here's that HTML block that I just grabbed. Open that up and paste in that is not the correct thing. 1 second. I will grab the ID. So embed lead form, copy code. Now I will paste that in. So it's just this little snippet of code. This will make the form appear. Click save, and then I will update. I'll update the page now. We'll wait for this to update. Once it gets done updating, we'll look at the page and the form should load. So just like that, the lead form loaded. It's now all set up on the LeadPages landing page. Now, one thing to note is if I reload this, you'll see that there's this little spinning widget here. So basically, for the form to load, it needs to communicate back with the GetLeadForms platform. If you really want this form to load like as soon as the page loads, you can use the raw code feature. So this is another step. You don't have to do this. But again, if you want really fast load times, then I would highly suggest using raw code. And that's one more additional step. So to use the raw code, and again, you don't have to use this, go down to inside of the publish section, go down to raw code and expand that. So we'll expand this and click generate raw code. So upon clicking generate, this is just going to take all the settings and create this giant block of raw code. Now we can copy this and then go back into the landing page. And right below this little snippet of code, I'll just stick the entire block of raw code here. I'll hit save, update, And then as soon as this gets done, I will reload the page. And just like that, the form loaded as soon as the page loaded, and there was no spinner. So the one thing to note about raw code is when you use it, if you were to go back into LeadForms and let's say change the color of your button or change this headline here, you would need to regenerate the raw code each time, go back and paste it back into LeadPages. Whereas if you don't use the raw code, making a change inside of GetLeadForms will be reflected as soon as possible. It will be reflected as soon as you make that change inside of your landing page. So that's how to embed the form. The next thing I want to show is how to open the form with the click of a button using ClickPop. So I'm just going to delete this block of code since we want this to open as a pop-up. And I'll just say, I'll change this button here to say, get a demo. And then to basically what's going to happen is rather than embedding the form, when somebody comes to the page, they would click on this button and the form would pop up. So I'll just update that. Now let's go back into GetLeadForms. And I'm going to delete this form since I don't need it. We'll start with a new form here. So create form. And let's find one. I'll go with a chat style form here. So let's go with this web design chat style pop-up. All right, so I'll click choose. So we're going to have this form pop up when the button is clicked. So first thing to note is form mode should be set as pop-up. And then pop-up behavior. So you can have it be like a time pop-up. You can have it pop up when someone's leaving the page. That's up to you. I'm going to disable those features right now. The on-site message is something that appears in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. It's a way to kind of increase engagement. We've seen that this has been pretty useful in terms of kind of bumping up conversions. So I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So the mode is set to pop up. And then again, we have the code set right here. So this is that LeadForms pixel. So you always want to make sure you have the pixel set inside of the header section. And then we just need to grab the link to the page, and then we'll paste this in. Show on all subpaths, save changes, and then this should get the pop-up form working. So you can see the on-site message, and then I believe I think I disabled the pop-up setting. So by clicking this, the form would pop up. Now I'm going to remove the on-site message, and then we'll have the form pop up when somebody clicks on get a demo right there. So first, let's go back into settings, and let's just remove the on-site message here. And then to start to configure the pop-up from the button click, we need to go into LeadPages and do a couple of things. So the very first thing we need to do is set the click event to be an external landing page. And all we need to do is set it to a hash sign. So we'll save that. And then typically inside of GetLeadForms, let's go back to GetLeadForms. So in the publish section, there's this trigger with button click section to expand. So expand that. So typically the way to handle this is you will set a custom class to the button CSS. Now, unfortunately with LeadPages, they don't allow you to change the CSS or class or ID of a button. Most landing page builders do allow you to do this. WordPress does, but for some reason LeadPages does not. So we have a workaround here. What we essentially need to do is add the class or ID of the button right inside of this section inside of the GetLeadForms builder. And you can get the class or ID by going into Chrome, inspect developer tools, and just pulling out this class, which is landing page button React. And I'm pretty sure that this is the same across the board. It seems to be at least. So all I need to do is paste this in right there and then click save. And now if I'll just close this. If I reload the page, the form should pop up when I click get a demo. And just like that, the form popped up.